Can you win a Heisman as a punt returner in NCAA 25? I'm trying to find out. This is part 3 of the series where we are trying to do just that. We are up against Marshall, who is our last opponent before we get into Big Ten play. So I want to make sure to rack up really good stats, but first I need to shuffle out my defensive line starters. Once again, they are racking up too many sacks and are a real threat to win the Heisman in this season, which would obviously be a failure in this challenge. I want to win it with Travion Henderson, so I started weaving through the special teams of Marshall with relative ease. It wasn't as easy as it was against Western Michigan. That special teams unit was just horrible. Marshall's was a little better, but they couldn't match up with the athlete that Travion was. I was faster, quicker, more powerful, and I learned a bunch of things about how to do punt returns. Reversing fields would definitely make your coach mad in real life, but it works like a charm in NCAA, at least on freshmen when you're trying to do this. I went into halftime with a really convincing 38-0 lead. Very strong, all from punt returns and safeties, which I unfortunately sometimes get, which actually brings me back to one of the comments I got on my last video asking why I thought safeties were unfortunate. The reason was there's no way to guarantee that they're going to kick it to Travion on the free kick, and they almost never do because of all the stats he's piling up as a punt returner. So anytime I get a safety, they kick it to Kojo Antwi, which does nothing for this challenge. That's why I say unfortunately. Really, punt returns are the best way to control it. Either way, we won this game easily. We kept our shutout streak intact, 61-0, had a really, really good stat day, and we're heading into our second game of the video right now. We're up against Michigan State, our first Big Ten opponent. I expected it to be more difficult to run all over them, and it was, but we were still able to manage to do it. It just wasn't as frequent. Obviously, I'm showing you the highlights in this video of me actually scoring touchdowns, but because of the higher level of athletes I was up against, there were way more instances of me getting tackled after a short return. These are the highlights. I was still able to put up pretty good stats, but so were all of my defensive linemen, so I benched the starters again, subbed in all of my backups to make sure that they started to get the sacks I was racking up, because I'm not kidding when I say I was averaging over 20 sacks per game with my team. That's going to be a real problem for Heisman voters at the end of the year if I don't manage it well. Hopefully I don't run out of defensive linemen to substitute in, because if any of them get over 30 sacks, they're probably going to win the Heisman. We won this game really easily. We got another shutout, a really good stat day, and if you check out the Heisman leaderboard, our boy sits right at the top.